Hello, welcome to my weekly video blog, and today on A Vogel Talks Menopause I'm going to be discussing the use of soya products and foods in the menopause. Now, I get asked this an awful lot. Women are emailing in saying, should I be adding more soya into my diet? I've read so much about it. Soya seems to be really good at helping with menopause symptoms. What should I do? And we're talking here about whole soya foods. So these would be things like soya milk, soya cheese, soya yogurts, and your sort of textured vegetable protein packets that you can get to make up into your own dishes. Now, I tend not to recommend these foods. And you might well be thinking, well, why? Because we do know, and research has showed, that soya can be something that's very beneficial in the menopause. Well, the reason is that the use of soya in the menopause has basically been lost in translation. If you look to the Far East, where they have soya in their diet, you look over there and menopause symptoms seem to be very few and far between, and those women who are eating a traditional diet that includes little bits of soya tend to do very well during the menopause. But the problem is that here in the West, they've looked at what's going on in the East and they've gone, soya's great, let's add it to our diet. So we've got a huge number of women who are approaching the menopause, they're maybe in their late 30s, early 40s, suddenly starting to add lots of soya foods into their diet. And this is the problem, because whole soya foods can cause a whole range of issues. Whole soya foods, the kind of phytoestrogens, if you like, the ingredients that we are looking for, the hormonal action that we're looking for in soya is locked into the soya foods themselves. And whole soya foods can be very, very difficult to digest. They can cause bloating, and especially if your digestive system is not used to them and all of a sudden you start putting lots of soya foods into your diet, you can end up with bloating, you can end up with wind, you can end up with constipation. And I've had people who are drinking, you know, a litre of soya milk a day and then wondering why they feel really awful all the time. And it's purely because for the majority of us here, our digestive systems can't cope with whole soya foods. So if you go back to the Far East, in a traditional diet, the soya foods that are eaten are things like miso, tempeh, and natto, and fermented soy sauces and other foods such as these. Now, fermented soya is very different to whole soya foods. They've been fermented, and in that process, these phytoestrogens have almost been unlocked from the soya foods. So they are much more bioavailable in our digestive system, and our digestive system doesn't have to work so hard at dealing with them. And if you think about it, one of the big symptoms in the menopause is that our digestion can get weaker as we go through the menopause. So having soya foods that have already been partly digested, if you like, through the fermentation process can make it much easier on our digestion. And because these phytoestrogens have been partially released, we are going to get a lot more benefit from them